Today we're talking Boat Insurance 101. I'm Justin.
And I am Aaron.
And this is the Phoenix Insurance Channel where we help you understand insurance just a little bit better. And today we're hoping to help you understand boat insurance just a little better. Most of this information also applies to personal watercraft like jet skis or hovercrafts or what have you.
Absolutely.
So we will start at the top of the page, your declaration page, which is what shows you everything you'd be covered for. And so we start at the top, as always, with liability to others. Liability to others is expressed in terms of money. So for instance, you might have 30, 60, 25. That's $30,000 per person, up to $60,000 per accident in bodily injury to other people, and then $25,000 in property damage to others if you run over that fishing boat.
They also have those in, you're talking about split limit coverages.
Yes.
They have it in a combined single limit coverage where you would have one big bucket of liability for the bodily injury and property damage to other people. $100,000, $300,000, $500,000.
And free advice, always take the highest limit because you never know how much damage you'll cover, you never know how much damage you cause, and you never know how many lawyers they know. The second coverage you have, and again, a lot of these coverages will vary by company and by state, so we're just going to talk about coverages you might see, and this would be uninsured boat motorist coverage, which means that if someone who doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough insurance runs into you, you are basically buying their liability. Also in split limits, 30, 60 or 100, 300, or combined single limits, that single bucket again.
Spoiler alert, lots of people out on the lake do not have insurance.
Generally not required by law, and unless they've got a loan that requires it, a lot of people don't bother. The next coverage you'd come across on this page is going to be the coverage to you and your passengers, no matter who's at fault in the event of an accident. And this is a couple different ways, again, depending on company, depending on state. You might have personal injury protection coverage. Personal injury protection is there to cover you for lost wages and or medical payments in the event of an accident. Then you might have medical payments, which is there, exactly what it sounds like, for you and your passengers to cover medical payments in the event of an accident.
Personal injury protection may not be available. Personal injury protection may not be available in a lot of states, but medical payments should be there in most states.
Then we get to protecting your boat.
Absolutely. Just like an auto policy, you have comprehensive coverage for physical damage that happens to the boat, to the watercraft, that is a result of anything other than a collision. So this is your theft and your weather damage, hail damage, vandalism, things like that.
Right.
It's going to have a deductible on it. You're going to choose your deductible. It could be anywhere from $0 up to maybe even $5,000. If it's a big enough boat, it might be a percentage of the stated value of the boat. The deductible is the part that you are going to pay. If there is a claim, that's your portion of the damage that is going to be covered. Then you've got your collision coverage for, exactly like it sounds, anything that you have a collision with, whether you collide with another boat, with the dock, with a boathouse. If it's collision, it falls under collision coverage. It also carries a deductible. Now with boats, typically what you're going to see is you have to name your value. A lot of them are on a stated value proposition where you're going to say the boat is worth $30,000. Any insurance carrier can pay you up to the stated amount or the current market value, whichever is less. So it's important when you buy boat insurance to look at that value of the boat every year and make sure you're not paying for more coverage than you could actually get.
Absolutely.
The same number is going to apply to both comprehensive and collision. A boat policy is much like a vehicle policy on the road. Sometimes boats break down and they need to get towed. There is towing coverage for a boat policy as well. So you can get on-water towing. That can be very expensive. If you ever bought gas at a lake, you know it's a lot more expensive on water than it is on land. Towing is going to be the same thing. Choose a high limit, the coverage is not very expensive. You also, some companies do offer a mechanical breakdown coverage. A lot of boat insurance is not going to cover the prop or really the engine if the boat hits something, maybe that messes up the prop and it causes some damage within the engine. Boat policies don't naturally cover that, but you can get an endorsement to a policy and additional coverage that gives you mechanical breakdown type of coverages.
Speaking of endorsements, there are also other endorsements available on boat policies to cover safety gear, to cover fishing gear, to cover stereos. All those extra things you might have on a boat, you can actually endorse them onto the policy in most cases to protect you if you sink or whatever, or against theft specifically. Fishing equipment can be fairly expensive.
One thing most policies don't have One thing most boat policies do not have is free coverage. So if you want it covered, make sure you're talking about it. A lot of these coverages the things that you want to cover on a boat, there is coverage available for them. You just have to ask for it, and of course, you gotta pay for it.
Absolutely. The one we didn't talk about is trailer coverage. Done a couple different ways on on policies. Some it's lumped in with the value of the boat altogether. Some it's a separate line item, but make sure that you're checking to see that your trailer is covered. Hope that helps you understand boat insurance a little better. Thanks for watching.
Make sure you leave any comments below if there's anything that you want to know more about, and subscribe so you can catch more of these videos and find out more about insurance. Thanks for watching.